The governor of Louisiana said today that she is considering the remarkable step of evacuating the remaining residents of New Orleans. A water main broke, leaving New Orleans without drinking water, and the flooding here is getting worse after waters from Lake Pontchartrain broke through a levee. And with much of New Orleans now underwater, authorities are focused on search and rescue before it's too late.
If ever the cavalry was needed, it is now, and it is in New Orleans. An Army National Guard helicopter today rescued people from rooftops, fragile islands in the floodwaters. It was the Coast Guard to the rescue for others, swinging axes to reach people trapped in attics. In one submerged neighborhood, they plucked people to safety one by one with a helicopter-borne basket. An air-sea rescue in the heart of urban America. And when you pull back for a wide shot, the scene is nothing short of apocalyptic. 80% of New Orleans, including much of downtown, is underwater. The Big Easy's famous Canal Street, living up to its name. And rising waters will now force officials to evacuate the shelter at the Superdome. Katrina's departure was just the beginning of the misery.
I didn't think it was over, but I didn't think it would come to this.
But it has come to this. People are now living in parking garages. Others picked up what they could and moved to higher ground on the interstate. Refugees in their own hometown.
We're not able to get up and just go. We don't have transportation. I mean, we live in paycheck to paycheck. I mean, it ain't like we could just able to get up and just leave.
It was all enough to bring Louisiana's governor to tears today.
The magnitude of the situation is untenable. It's just heartbreaking.
New Orleans is called the Big Bowl, a lake to the north, a river to the south, and canals on both sides. Most of the land in between is below sea level. When Katrina breached the levees that held the water back, the bowl was swamped. And in the poorer neighborhoods of that bowl, people who could least afford it have lost the most. Water is still head high, swamping everything in sight. Every rescue boat that goes out comes back heavy with human cargo. One crew had to break open the front of this house to get to a woman who had been trapped in her attic for 2 days. And they will be at it for days to come.
Rescue workers first started plying these waters shortly after the winds of Hurricane Katrina died down on Monday afternoon. They worked all night, through the night, and into the morning. It's now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they say they've picked up about 1,000 people so far. And there could still be hundreds more out here.
Remarkably, some people refuse to be rescued. Better off, they feel, on their own front porch than looking for shelter elsewhere.
You don't want anybody to pick you up?
No, we want to put the pumps on.
Put the pumps on.
Put the pumps on. Get the water out of here. Get the water out.
But the pumps aren't coming on. There's no electricity. And even if there was, the levees haven't been repaired yet. Officials are overwhelmed by the scope of this disaster. They can't even pick up dead bodies. There is nowhere to put them. And people who now have nothing and no place to go swear they've rode out their last hurricane.
We leaving next time. They could say a windstorm, just a flood or whatever, anything. We gone.
Late today, the mayor of New Orleans said it could be 2 to 4 weeks before people are allowed back downtown. He says that it's going to take at least 2 weeks to deal with all of the water here and getting the electricity back on a month or more. He also said today there are significant casualties.